see, it's not. It's a good car. 2.2-litre supercharged engine, 240 brake horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and look at it, chrome vents on the bonnet. Gorgeous lines. It is a beautiful-looking thing. Look at that interior.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic.
OK, I'll give you that. That's a good Vauxhall.
It
but
is.
what would you say if I said Perodua Kalisa?
Ooh, bless you.
But look what we've got in the hangar. This is the R Coupe. It's the only one in the world, and honestly, have you ever seen such a beautiful car? No. Neither have I, but then strictly speaking, it isn't actually a car. It's a concept, it's a one-off, it's a flight of fancy. Jaguar built it to show the world where they're going. But we start tonight on our track.
In the studio, we've got the new Citroën C4. And when you look inside, you discover that the steering wheel turns, but the middle stays where it is. Look at that. That's absolutely remarkable. What's more, we think this is a really, really good-looking car. And because it's a Citroën, it's going to be good value. Right, enough of this pop nonsense. Have a look at this. What we have here is the new Jaguar XK. How about that? Now, Jaguar say that this is only a concept car, but don't be fooled by that, because we've seen the real thing, and we happen to know that this is exactly the same. Now, this has been designed by the same man who did the Aston Martin DB9, using a piece of tracing paper. What we do know about it is that it's going to be on sale early next year with prices from about £50,000. There'll be the 4.2 V8 engine that we're already familiar with, in supercharged form as well, and we have heard from one of our spies that there's going to be a very special edition with up to 500 horsepower. So, ordered a Porsche 911? Kept the receipt, did you?
You know what that is, don't you, that Jag? It's a DB9 for 50 grand off. This is Britain's entry. It's the Aston Martin DBR9. Now, you can buy one for £500,000, although you can't use it on the road because it's a racing car. Look. Now, look at the problem here. You see this spoiler? Cut a toad clean in half, that thing would. What we've got in essence is a DB9 chassis, DB9 body, although it's made of carbon fibre, DB9 engine, tuned to develop 600 brake horsepower. And it only weighs 1.1 tonnes. Now, you see those little carbon fibre holes down there?
Those things?
When it races in America, there are going to be lights in those, OK? And when one's on, it's winning. 2 on, second. 3 on, it's third. Now, what I want is 1 on all the time.
Yeah.
I want it to wipe the smile off Ferrari's face.
Yes. Yes. In fact, that should be this car's mission. That's all it's for from now on. Definitely. Right, now...
And we begin with this. It's a new Aston Martin. It's called the Rapide. You can think of it as a DB9 with 2 extra doors. And that means there is room back here for 2 extra fully grown adults to enjoy the 470 horsepower V12 motoring experience. And they can enjoy exquisite details such as these magnetically located grab handles, look. Won't flap around when you're driving along. All this is yours for £140,000. Now, that is quite a bit more expensive than Porsche's 4-door, the Panamera, but there are 2 very good reasons why you should choose the Aston Martin. Firstly, and unlike the Porsche, it does look rather magnificent. And secondly, most importantly, this is quintessentially British, despite the fact that it's made in Austria, which I think is in Germany.
Right, now, Rolls-Royce have said that they will never build a convertible version of their Phantom. So here it is. This is a unique one-off car. It's called the 100EX, and it is magnificent. Just look at the size of it. Rolls-Royce actually say it's supposed to look like a sort of posh motorboat in motion, and it kind of does. And it's even got teak decking here at the back.
A man from the Vaterland delivered the car to us in a BMW T-shirt, and he was very strict. He said to me, "Das Bonnet is nicht für Fingerpoken," because it's made of a single piece of machined aluminium. This, though, is solid silver. How about that? But what I really like about this is the normal Nancy Boy V12 that you get in these things has been replaced by a V16 engine, and it's there purely for smoothness. I like that. I like this.
Rolls-Royce have said they will never build this car. So expect to see it on sale soon for about £300,000.
This one is called the R.
These are your brothers and sisters for the next few days.
Whoa.
You're going on a journey. All you have to do is follow my voice.
Stay here in this life.
D6. It's made almost entirely of aluminium, it's very light, and it's powered, remarkably enough, by a turbocharged V6 diesel engine. But the bit I really like is the inside. Have a look at this. Now have a look at that black leather and all those shiny bits and those red lights down in the footwell. Now clearly a Jaguar designer got completely lashed in a vodka bar and thought, oh, I'll make it look like this then. So obviously there'll be a bouncer on the door telling you can't come in because you've got trainers on.
It's a gorgeous looking thing. I think it's fab. But here's the thing I don't get about Jaguar concept cars. 2 years ago, about then, they showed us the XK180. And there it is. That was to show us what Jaguars of the future will look like. But then last year, they did the R Coupe to show us what Jaguars of the future will look like. And now they're back again with this to show us what Jaguars of the future will look like.
Now look, Jaguar, you have made your point. Just make the car. Now, though, Porsche and Aston Martin are thinking along similar lines to that. And then there is this. This is the Lamborghini Estacade.
Yeah, now this isn't actually a real car yet, it's just a model. And Lamborghini say if they do make it, it could have a diesel. I don't think so. Or a hybrid engine. I don't think so. Or maybe the V10 from the new Gallardo. That's more likely, I think. Whatever engine it is, though, it will go here at the front.
And that means there is room for a proper boot at the back. And more importantly, it means there is room in here for 4 people. And it's not one of those supercars with seats in the front and token seats in the back. It really is massive. Have a look at the legroom back there.
Do you know what I love about this most of all? Is they haven't fallen into the same trap that Porsche fell into with the off-roader, the Cayenne. Because that, OK, they've kind of got a supercar 911 nose on the front and then an ordinary car on the back. So you look and you go, wow, it's Kate Moss. And you look down the side, oh, no, it's got John Prescott's arse. This...
From every angle, it just gets better looking. It is magnificent.
It's just staggering.
Please make it.
Anyway.
Now, I'm afraid we've had another complaint from a viewer that we don't feature enough sensible, down-to-earth cars on the show. So, this week, we've got one in the studio. It has excellent luggage capacity and it does 33 miles to the gallon.
Yep, and here it is! Yeah! It's the Caparo T1. And it's the work of 2 engineers who used to design Formula 1 cars for McLaren. And I just love some of the details, things like this rear light with this trail of LEDs down there.
It really is absolutely fabulous. And look at this, these wing mirrors are mirrors on the wings.
And then there's the engine. It's a 2.4-litre supercharged V8, and it's not cobbled together by gluing 2 old motorbike engines. It's actually bespoke for this car. It's powerful, 480 brake horsepower. And because the whole thing is so light, it weighs, what, less than half a Ford Fiesta.
Yep.
It's fast. 0 to 60, 2.5 seconds. And it'll do 200 miles an hour.
I think what really impresses me, though, is that it's so reasonably priced. This is £190,000. But the thing is, you laugh at that, but a Pagani Zonda is what, £100,000 more?
Yeah, and
bargain.
This really will do 33 miles to the gallon, honestly. Although we did make up the bit about the luggage space, that's all.
OK. But now there is a new car from Peugeot. We have it here in the studio. It's called the Onyx. It looks absolutely fantastic, and you will notice that some of the bodywork is made from copper, just like the boiler tubes on a Gresley A4 Streamliner Pacific logo.
Yes, James, yes.
And it's actually untreated copper, so over time it will turn green, unless a scrap metal merchant removes it in the middle of the night.
Inside, they've continued the theme of using unusual materials. So the dashboard here, that's made out of recycled newspaper. I'm guessing they'll have used the Guardian for everything on the left and the Telegraph for everything on the right. Actually, the newspaper's good because it means there's no need to Bluetooth your phone to it. The dashboard will already have listened to your messages from it.
The engine is a 680 horsepower V8 turbo diesel hybrid, and that means the top speed in the outside lane of 40.
Anyway, this is the future, perhaps, but now we must return to the present because... But we do have a bit of a treat in store because look what we've got here. It's the new MG SV. And this is the new car from MG Rover now that BMW have left them alone. Yippee. Of course, MGs in the past have always been a bit Johnny-go-like. They're a bit delicate in the Dunlops. This is different. If Oliver Reed and Russell Crowe made mad man love on the set of Gladiator in an angry brawl, this would be the result. This is the spawn of something momentous. It's even got somewhere to rest your helmet. No, honestly, it's got helmet holders in the back. Would you like to hear it? Oh, yeah. Yes? The sound of V8 thunder. We all like a spot of that on Sunday evening. So, here we go. Go to DEFCON 3, engage, and fire. Now, this will be going on sale next year, priced at around £60,000 or more if you want the 1,000 horsepower nitrous kit. Oh, but you do, don't you? You just do.
Very, very nice.
To prove it, we've got the latest French luxury car right here in the studio. This is the new Citroën C6. Now, this is going to be on sale here from the beginning of next year. Prices starting from around £30,000. And there's a choice of engines, a 2.7-litre diesel or a nice 3-litre V6 petrol.
Now, there is a tradition that big luxury French cars are always loaded with clever technology. This is no exception. It's got the latest generation of their computer-controlled hydropneumatic suspension. Inside, it's got diffused air conditioning, whatever that is, and a head-up display. All very clever stuff. But most importantly, well, just look at it. I mean, mon Dieu.
I mean, zoot, alors, and sacre bleu. It is actually, seriously, this is a fantastic looking car. It's contemporary, it's really classy. Look at this curve in the window, that's so lovely. I have to say, the French really are very, very good at this sort of thing. They say non to sporty, firm suspension and extreme performance, and instead they give us this more sort of considered, philosophical approach to luxury. I really, really approve of that car. Watch it flop.
So we've had it shipped over from France, and it's here.
Now, it's got 2 doors, one on each side, which isn't particularly revolutionary, obviously, but watch this. Hey, I love that. It's good, isn't it? Now, sliding doors, very convenient in car parks, very entertaining for small children, but the thing I like is that they make the noise of the Star Trek doors on the bridge.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Make the noise made by the Star Trek bridge door.
It goes sort of...
No, they don't. Try again.
Well, all right, it's sort of...
No. Anyone have a go? No. No, it isn't that at all. None of you got it.
He's right. That's very good.
The other thing about these doors is I wonder if they're available on the Ford GT. Just a thought. The best bit about this car, though, for me, is the interior, because, just put that down, when you're bored with it, OK, all the bits come off like that, and then you pop down to the Peugeot dealership, buy new coloured ones like that, and you can do the same with these kind of mats here and the seat upholstery and the door linings, and basically you've got a whole new car.
Now, if you look at the back of it, the badge seems to say 1007, but actually we can't call it that, apparently. All the James Bond people have gone on to Peugeot and said no, because they own 007. We have to call it the 1007.
Which isn't a particularly snappy name, but I do think this is a great little car. I really do. When's it on sale?
Next May, £10,000.
Very good. OK, we've got to move on.
Welcome to Celebrity Pong League. There's a lot of great people playing on the show. They're all gonna get their ass whooped either way.
Bullseye.
This is a dirty game already.
Trade in and trade up this month at Mercedes-Benz of Annapolis. Lease a 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250 4MATIC for $439 a month. Find yours at Mercedes-Benz of Annapolis.
Okay, it's over there. If you look, it is a Vauxhall Astra VXR. Here it comes. Moving towards us now. And if you just watch carefully, you'll note that it has now taken off. It is flying.
It's floating.
No, it's not floating, James. It's flying. And there are no wires either. Before you say that, it has no wires suspending it. There is a man controlling that with a radio control thing.
Amazing!
I mean, have you ever seen anything like this in your whole life? That is a ton of Vauxhall flying round the studio over people's heads. I will explain to you how it works, okay? It's basically, it weighs 10 pounds, which is about the same as my Sunday joint, and it's full of helium and it's got 3 little fans on it that make it steer and move about.
That is incredible. Is it expensive?
Yes. It costs £5. It is 60,000 quid.
Really?
60,000 quid and worth every penny. Ladies and gentlemen,
That's
a flying
amazing.
Vauxhall.
I will concede you have the best radio-controlled car. That is
stunning, isn't it?
absolutely, that is incredible.
Stunning.
Now, here's another new Ford. It's called the Vsauce, and look at this shape. Very cutting edge, and then the interior. Wow, and those dials, they're all spangly, clever, up-to-the-minute computer stuff. And there's no mirrors. Look, cameras instead. Oh, yeah. It's a very modern car, no doubt. But look a bit more closely. And look, there's these grills on the flank, and then the shape of this window. Now, you can't fool me. If Ford ever actually make this car for real, this is the new Capri, no doubt about it.
Tell you what, though, you know in the olden days when people actually had Capris, they always had the bonnet up on a Saturday tinkering around with the engine.
Fettling.
Exactly. Well, nowadays, people always fiddle around with computers.
Yeah.
So what this has got, which is amazing, well, if they ever get round to putting a bonnet in it, which they haven't at the moment, it'll have a... port thing. You put your laptop in it and you'll be able to adjust like the rev limiter and the suspension settings and everything.
But it goes further than that. It's very clever because once you've got your laptop plugged in, you can then log on to the internet and you can actually download specifications and settings direct from Ford. And better than that even, you can then exchange data with your mates and their Vsauce.
So if you got one, I could set the rev limit at like 1,500 RPM. Have the headlamps flash every time we went above 10.
Not quite what they meant there, really.
Or even better, if you get stuck behind one on the road, what you could do is dial up its computer from your laptop, Bluetooth, mobile phone, speed him up a bit. 150, and then just apply one of the rear brakes.
Yeah, that's just stupid. It's stupid. Let's do the news. Right, the new Audi A6. We've actually got one here in the studio, just out. It's marginally bigger than the last one, 5 inches longer and about 2 inches wider. Prices start at £24,500, rising to about £43,000.
Yes, and the power?
The power is, well, this is the most powerful one here, 4.2 litre, V8, 330 brake horsepower.
What a bunch
I know.
of fairies.
How did it get here?
I can't believe it.
How did it get here with such a miserable amount of horsepower?
What if there'd been a hill?
Exactly.
That's a French power output.
It is pitiful. However, they've thought of everything else but the power. The list must have been pretty long because they've actually got to the point where, on this car, I kid you not, you can change the pitch of the reversing warning beep.
Now we have a very, very interesting new car in the studio this week. It's over here. Have a look at this. This is the new Mercedes CLS.
Now, it's available with either a 3.5-litre V6 or a 5-litre V8 engine. Goes on sale next year. We expect prices will start from about £45,000. But, and here's the really interesting thing, it comes with an automatic gearbox that has 7 forward speeds. And for reasons we just can't quite fathom, 2 reverse speeds.
Yes, that's very interesting, Hammond. But this is more interesting, I think. It's the styling of the thing. Have a look. It's been made to look like a very svelte coupe. But it is actually a 4-door, and more to the point, the doors are pillarless. How cool is that? For some reason, that's just I don't know, fantastic. I think if we were doing the Cool Wall this week, we could have our first cool Mercedes.
Quite possibly. Okay.
Right, on to some really important stuff. This is the first chance you've had to see the new Aston Martin DB9. It's a replacement for the DB7, and no, I don't know what happened to the DB8 either. But what I can tell you is that it's got the same engine as the DB7, V12, 6-litre, 450 brake horsepower. But apart from that, everything is new. It's got a new type of very light, very stiff chassis, and inside, well, you get a lot more space than you did in the old DB7. And they've gone for a kind of Range Rover feel, really. There's lots of wood, lots of leather, but it's very, very modern. Gearboxes, you can either have a proper manual or no gearbox at all by the looks of things. I think it's an automatic. The only thing I would say in there, not quite as many Ford switches as I would have liked. What? Needs an air of quality. It's going on sale early next year, priced at £104,000. Now that's about £35,000 more than the V8 one we had in the series.
Yep, it's a bit bigger.
Earlier on. It's bigger than the V8, which is coming out in 2005. It's got 2 more seats than that. But you know, all of these really are mere details compared to the looks of it.
It's not as radical as my Lagonda, is it? But...
Ooh. It is gorgeous, isn't it? You would agree. It's absolutely stunning. I said at the top of the show that really in 1966 we were at our peak for designing cars, but this shows that Aston Martin...
A beacon.
They're still holding the torch for car design.
Fantastic.
Sadly, we can't drive it because it's pre-production. But...
Because the British have moved in with the new McLaren.
Yes, it's called the MP4-12C. We've got it here in the studio, and this is the first time, in fact, we've been able to have a proper look at it. Now, it has McLaren's own engine. It's a 3.8-litre twin-turbo V8. It also has very, very sophisticated computer-controlled suspension, and, most interestingly, it was tested here at the Top Gear test track.
Yeah, we really should stress, though, we had nothing to do with the testing or development of it at all.
No, nothing whatsoever. But the thing that bothers me, Hammond, is I've driven the 458 a lot, as you know, and I love it, and I cannot see how this can be better.
Yes, I know what you mean, but what if it is? And there are a few pointers. For one thing, it's going to be cheaper than the 458. You can't get in.
I can.
It's also going to be more powerful, 592 brake horsepower, which is about 30 or so more. These are good signs.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, as well, I like it in here because they've made the steering wheel the steering wheel. They haven't fallen into that trap of putting buttons all over it to make it feel like Formula One. They don't make you choose on your instrument panel between a speedometer and a sat-nav, like Ferrari do. All that stuff they put here, and your music on a sort of iPad thing in the middle. It's a fantastic place to be.
Yeah, my only problem with this really is I like a supercar to look, a bit crazy, a bit mad, like a Zonda. This, if you ask me, is a bit sort of plain.
You say Zonda, but which Zonda do you mean?
Well, the Pagani Zonda, as opposed to, say, the Kia Zonda or the Ford Zonda.
No, you see, because over the years...
Now, the new Batman film is released next week. Obviously, it's got some actors and stuff in it, but the thing we're interested in is the new Batmobile. And look, we've got it here in the studio. There it is. Look at
that. And squish. And squish. Okay, good. Keep squishing. Fingers relaxed. And squish. Great. Thank you. Good job.
Squish the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.